So let me ask you another question. This is a huge one. This is really the big picture question. Budget. So you're working in a marketplace where people are getting like $60 million or $200 million to make a movie. You are kind of crowdfunding, Indiegogo. You're reaching out to fans. I've seen you offering sort of credits and engagement with fans and stuff like that. How does budget? How do you feel it's shaping your movies now? Because I can tell you that the fan stuff that I read, so I'm kind of studying it all. They regard it as having a sort of punk aesthetic. Like they like your budget is different.
Right.
They see it as authentic, like something really exciting that they don't get from Halloween 27 or whatever is being churned out by Hollywood. They like what you do. So, is budget? Is it a struggle for you? Is it the things you want to do you can't do? How does it factor in?
I mean, there's definitely a DIY aesthetic, of course, that comes with independent films, indie movies that fans of indie movies, like you pointed out, they like that aesthetic, that rough around the edges, using your creativity to solve problems or to come up with things that, big budget movies take for granted, having good acting or good lighting or good effects, those type of things. So for us, yeah, we definitely fully embrace that. And, having limitations does force you to be creative. And yeah, it does, shape, movies in a way. Cause, if you follow the Robert Rodriguez, advice, try to write around something you have or something you have access to, or you could get access to, because there's been times where we don't have access to something, but we just think we could probably get it. So for Slashlorette Party, for example, it's a one location film primarily. It's a cabin in the woods horror movie, and that's how they go. So we thought we could probably do something like that. It was kind of started as an idea, maybe we could do something like that. We just have all the actors stay in the cabin. Everyone stays really close by, so we don't have to keep coming back and forth. Try to shoot in 3 or 4 days in a row. So that definitely was behind the idea of doing a movie like that and seeing if we could pull it off, almost like a challenge in a way. And so we had to prepare a lot of things before we did that. We had to obviously schedule all the people and make sure they had the time, because we're working with people who are work for a living or go to school. They're not professional actors. None of us are professionals, so we're all friends, things like that. So it takes a lot of prep time, and the effects as well. Coming up with the effects on the spot sometimes because something didn't work. So it's a big challenge, but it does have that DIY aesthetic to it, and that does definitely impart on the movie itself.
Right. I think something to be said that a lot of people may not know is that we also were raised not poor, but we were very, our families, at least definitely in my family, we learned how to stretch a dollar at a very young age. So that's just a skill that I've always had in the back of my mind. So when it comes to making films, at least in the very beginning, we tried to do everything for free. So if it was asking a friend, or can we shoot at our friend's house, or can we borrow XYZ? So our first feature film was made for
$600.
Not even $600. Way less. And that's very generous. And really the price was just to eat food, to feed the people that were working with us. So there wasn't really a budget. So, and we've never really expected there to be a budget. So we've always used that angle of trying to be creative. Definitely the Robert Rodriguez approach of how can we beg, borrow, and steal, so to speak. And so once we started doing these crowdfunding campaigns, we didn't expect anyone to contribute to them, because we were we're nobody from nowhere. Why would anybody give us anything? So we fully anticipated to make the movies regardless of if we raised any money at all. We worked full time, and we just have always slowly upped our budget from our own personal pockets over the years. And then it wasn't until Streets of Vengeance that we did our first campaign, and we raised $1,000. Was it $1,500? And we were oh my gosh, we're rich.
Yeah, we're wow,
this is so crazy. So from that first campaign to raise $1,500 to this current project we're working on to raise over $50,000, it's come a huge way, and it's
Is that
still
OnlyFangs?
Yes.
OnlyFangs, yes.
So
And
it's 50,000. Wow. So what a great trajectory you've got.
Yeah.
Yes. So every project,
50,000, yeah.
we've raised more and more every project that we've done, which is wild. And it's still a struggle only because we challenge ourselves to try and be better every project. So we could still continue to try and borrow and steal and we don't actually steal,
right.
But we still tried to keep things as cheap as possible. But now we're also trying to make ourselves a little bit better. Whereas maybe Paul and I used to do our special effects on our own. Now we're like, let's hire somebody that like knows what they're doing, so we can be a little bit better.
Right, and and that's what saying that. That's exactly what happened. Like I said, Slashlorette Party. Single location in the cabin in the woods, kind of trying to make things happen. And now with OnlyFangs, it is a much bigger movie, and the biggest movie we've ever done ever. So that did, influence our casting, like in a lot of people from out of state, because we're in California, and hiring a special effects artist and paying someone who, is specialized and then talented in that area. I mean, we just shot this past weekend with our special effects artist, another pickup shot for OnlyFangs. So the budget definitely, you can see it change throughout our films.
To us, it feels like a luxury now.
Yeah.
So in the past, we would ask our friends, or if we met someone who worked at Chipotle, we're like, "Hey, you have like a really cool look. Like, would you ever want to be in a movie?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So it's always been coworkers and friends or cousins or something that have been in our movies, and now we can finally collaborate with other artists that we're fans of, but they're on the other side of the country, because we can afford to say, okay, we will book you a hotel, we will pay for your flight, we will pay you a daily wage. So now we have the means to work with other collaborators that maybe are across the country, either musicians that are from across the world, poster artists from across the world. We can finally afford to pay other artists to collaborate on a project. And we're in a place now where it's not lost on us. Like, we're so grateful for every person that has found out about our campaign and gives $1. We're just like, oh my gosh, why'd they do that?
So important, and I feel like that shapes it, because it's not like an executive is telling you what to do.
Right.
You're doing something collaboratively with people who want to do it, and the fans are sort of making it happen. It's such a grassroots thing. I think
absolutely.
That's really wonderful.